Hi everyone, my name is Arijit
I'm Juhi Kulshrestha.
and we are husband-wife as well as business partners. We've been in business for almost 10 years and as business partners we've been running the business for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
So given that we are partners in life as well as doing business together, we are parents to 2 kids, there are various aspects of our partnership and we thought that it might be useful for some of the audience out there to find some relevant content from whatever we can share about our journey as partners. So hence we are starting this podcast series and we have named it
Duo Dynamics, Navigating Life and Business.
So that's the name of the podcast series and today is the first episode. So in the first episode we are going to talk about our individual transitions from being corporate professionals to entrepreneurs. So we'll start with Juhi. So I'm going to throw a few questions to Juhi on this. I am one of the few privileged husbands who can ask questions to my wife thanks to this podcast. So Juhi, why don't you first start by giving a background of what you used to do as a corporate professional and how long did it last?
Okay, so right after my college, I got through an interview at Max Life Insurance and I worked there for 10 years. My entire stint was in the customer experience and the last 2 years with renewals, which is persistency. So that's what I did with Max Life, and then I moved on as a senior manager to another company called Canara HSBC, and there I worked for 3 years.
Okay.
So that's what my corporate career.
So these were team leading roles, individual contributor roles.
Yeah, so initially at Max, of course, that was my first job, so it was an individual role initially, and later on I moved into team management and then vendor management, multiple vendors, I used to manage, and then in Canada HSBC I was managing entire customer experience, quality and training team.
How large were your teams? What's the largest team size that you managed in your corporate career?
So including the entire patch of quality training and customer experience within the company, it was close to 20, but at vendor side it used to be more than 50 and 100 people.
Okay,
yeah.
so it had a vendor relationship that
Yes.
you managed as well. Okay. So what was your trigger to actively consider entrepreneurship?
Okay, so interesting. I was working so I came from an environment which was extremely employee centric, and then I moved into an environment which wasn't as employee centric, and I realized that I was working very very hard at that point in time. I was spending there was no work-life balance. I was giving a lot of hours to my to my job, and while and then between the corona hit, so the corona came, and we both realized that if I'm giving so many hours to my work, if I put in the same kind of effort in my own business without the politics included, which is there in corporate world, I'll be able to add more value to my life and I'll be able to grow more as a person. So that's something which I realized I will be able to do. And that's the reason we thought that I should move into entrepreneurship from corporate job.
Okay, so now that it's been more than 2.5 years that you
Yes.
are an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
how has life changed? What is good, what is not so good? Share a little more about that.
So entrepreneurship comes with its own challenges. There is a lot of discipline that it requires from the individual. You don't have a boss or a meeting set up which is about to come and then you have to prepare for it or something like that. You have to self-discipline yourself. You have to ensure that you have a routine. You have to work towards that routine. So that's something which entrepreneurship taught me, that to be self-motivated, to be self-disciplined. And apart from that, how it has really changed is what you're asking. I think it gives you a lot of freedom and flexibility. So if you have that kind of a freedom and flexibility in your life, you are much happier and much calmer as compared to when you have a lot of stress in any particular job. So here the stress is more like a happy stress where you know that you really have to work hard for your own company and not somebody so not somebody who's telling you to do this, do that, do that. But at the same time, somebody who's so you have to really be self-motivated is what I can say.
Okay, but how do you handle financial uncertainties? So that's definitely there
Oh,
in
yes.
doing your own business.
So when I left my job, I was very scared because I have a few EMIs and I have a few SIPs where I regularly invest, and I was very scared that what if I'm not able to pay these? Because obviously I was getting a regular income, and once you get into entrepreneurship, there is nothing called regularity of income for sure. So God has been kind, and I have never had an issue with paying my EMIs or for my SIPs or any of my loans and all. But at the same time, always there's this fear of how will your next 6 months be. So if you're able to take care of your 6 months right now, you are not very certain about how your next 6 months will be. It's not like you're sure you're gonna get a paycheck. So that's not there. So it's a hustle in which you have to be on your toes all the time. You don't have to you can't just relax and say, okay, fine, now I'm done. No, that doesn't happen in entrepreneurship for sure.
Okay. And what have been your key learnings? It's been 2.5 years. Before that, you were in corporate for 12, 13 years. So what has been new learnings in these 2.5 years?
So in those 2.5 years, I have grown. I would say I did not grow as much as in my corporate career as compared to what I've grown and what I've realized. So there are a lot of self-realizations. Entrepreneurship also, takes you towards this place where you want to sit quietly and meditate for some time, and that really helps you get clarity on what you really want in your life. So that's something which has really helped me. Because when I was in my corporate career, I rarely had any time to do anything for myself. So it has really taught me self-love. It has taught me how to really work on yourself, how to take on tasks that help you grow and help you enhance your skills. So that's something which I've really learned through entrepreneurship.
Say more specifically, what is it that... So one, you said meditation and maybe some bit of calmness that you've been able to bring into your life. What else?
One thing which really makes me very happy is I'm able to spend more time with my kids.
So that's a benefit, not a learning necessarily.
Yeah.
So it's another learning. It's okay if
what's another learning I'm thinking? So the quality of people I was working with earlier and the quality of people I'm working with now, there is a huge difference. And as they say, you are 5%, you're 5% of the people. You're 5% or you're what, 25%?
Whatever significant percentage of people.
Yeah. So you're a significant percentage of people you hang out with. So I believe that has really helped me. The kind of people I meet, the kind of people I interact with, the kind of people I work with, that pedigree of people has really impacted my personality and the way I would want to grow in life. That's something which I have learned.
Okay, last question to you. Then you can ask me questions. So you are wearing multiple hats, that of an entrepreneur, of a parent of 2 children, of a wife, of the lady of the house. So do you find it overwhelming with a lot of expectations, or do you deal with your own guilt of how to deal with your children? How are you doing all this?
So honestly, it's tough. It's not easy. And with 2 kids at home, I think there is a lot of responsibility, and there's a lot of so as a mother you have to take care of it, of everything from A to Z, everything that you have to. Though I have a very, very supporting husband, but still there are mostly things that I would not let him do because I know how to do them better. So I didn't get the question. Can you repeat the question?
So how do you deal with all these multiple roles?
I think allocating time for them, and thankfully both my kids are school going, so getting some time for myself, spending some time early morning where I just spend some time with myself only, whether it's going to the gym or whether it's going for swimming, whether it's just spending some time only and only, or reading a book where I am only and only with myself. So that's something which really gives me which helps me actually manage my stress better. So that's something which I do.
Great, thanks. I hope our audience would have found some nuggets of wisdom and insight from what you shared. So yeah, your turn. You can ask me your set of questions.
Okay, so how has it been to run a business for last 10 years?
See, unlike you, if I have to put it, entrepreneurship was a very conscious choice for me. Maybe you can, in your case, I kind of coaxed you into it, and you looked at it at a very, in a very objective manner. That okay, if I am putting X number of hours in one company, if I put that much of hours in my own venture, I will get a greater upside.
Yeah.
For me, it was not that. It was just clear passion and excitement of doing something of my own. Having worked for a decade in large corporates, I worked for a long time with GE Capital, which is now known as Genpact. It was a very beneficial stint. I had a great time in my corporate career. Thankfully, I didn't encounter too many toxic bosses. But I think I kind of wanted larger challenges in life.
Yeah.
And we have known each other for almost 19 years, right? You know me, that I am someone who likes to push the envelope in whichever way possible. So professionally, I thought that entrepreneurship is going to be a larger challenge, which I would want to take on, which will push me to discover things about myself and produce results that are not linear, are not expected. कि भाई ये 5 साल में promote होके इतना पैसा कमाने लग ही जाएगा, which you can kind of expect if you're in a job, unless you lose your job, etc. So I think I was very passionate about entrepreneurship. The fact that we are doing HR, I really never thought that we will end up doing HR. While, like you, I have also been in team leading roles in my corporate career, have always been appreciated about the people aspect in how I've interacted with people. So I think in a way, both of us were destined to do HR ventures because it typically is our strong suit. We are good with people. So it has all kind of fallen in place, I would say. 10 years has been great. Have had a failed venture as well. Have had 2-3 cycles where I've seen low phases, and it's the truth. Till the time you go through your low phases or so-called failures, you don't really learn much.
Yeah.
When you're succeeding, you don't sit back and reflect that okay, what is making me succeed? But when you fail or when you have a setback, then the propensity is much higher to sit back and analyze, okay, why did this happen? And that makes you a better entrepreneur, sports person, or whatever your vocation is. So I'm very thankful that I've kind of seen the highs and lows of entrepreneurship in the last 10 years. Having you formally join the business with more involvement in the last 2.5 years has been great. Obviously, we have our own set of fights because of business also, but I think you being around kind of has been a lot of support while we keep pushing ourselves to do better. We obviously have to deal with this, like you said, financial uncertainty, but it's a chosen struggle. Nobody, किसी ने बोला नहीं कि तुमको ये करना है. तो वो देखो लाइफ में फाइट सबकी. तो मैंने और आपने ये फाइट उठाई है क्योंकि हमें करना है. And anyways, हम नहीं करेंगे तो कौन करेगा? We are privileged people, well educated, living in urban cities, have had good education. Element of risk है, but ठीक है. मतलब I don't really see dire consequences happening even if we have to shut shop someday. So that's how I look at it. And God has been kind. I think, like you, I've also kind of met really amazing people in this journey and keep meeting more and more amazing people. That's a big high for me. The company that I get to keep matters a lot for me, and that is a big kick that I get out of being an entrepreneur.
So you've answered 3 of my questions in the first question itself.
Long answer. Are you left with any other questions or are we done?
No, I have one or two. So how has it been like being an entrepreneur and a parent, and what are the similarities you see in being an entrepreneur and a parent?
That's a great question. A lot of similarities. Because like parenting, you don't see results immediately.
Yeah.
See, you you might be feeding the child today, you might be nurturing the child, putting the child to sleep, inculcating the right habits of books, sports, etc. But you really don't see the results every day. Okay, so I'll just quote an example that we were talking about. Somebody asked one of our entrepreneur friends that, okay, you went to this event, तो आपको कुछ फायदा हुआ क्या? And you know, later on I was thinking कि it's like saying आपने अपने बच्चे को कल खाना खिलाया, आज कुछ फायदा हुआ क्या? So फायदा immediately नहीं दिखता है, ठीक है? तो फायदे के लिए हर वक्त नहीं करना है, उस opportunity के लिए करना है. Parenting is an opportunity, is an opportunity of every moment. You don't do parenting because आपका बेटा IIT जाएगा या आपकी बेटी डॉक्टर बनेगी तो बनेगी, लेकिन अपॉर्चुनिटी आज की है उनके साथ टाइम बिताने की, उनको नर्चर करने की. सिमिलरली एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की अपॉर्चुनिटी आज की है कि आप उस पर काम करो और फिर रिजल्ट्स होंगे. अब वो आईआईटी बनेगा, मतलब यूनिकॉर्न बनेगा आपका बिजनेस, कितने करोड़ कमाएगा नहीं कमाएगा, वो टाइम विल टेल. बट इफ यू आर ऑनेस्ट टू डूइंग द राइट स्टफ, लाइक इफ यू आर honest in setting the right examples for your kids, not giving the right gyan, but setting the right examples, walking the talk, chances are that your kids will pick it up along the way. Similarly, if you're honest about doing the right stuff for the business day in day out, chances are very high that eventually those results will also happen.
Right.
So yeah, great question, lots of similarities.
Yeah. Okay, good. Any other questions that I have for you? I'm thinking, what are the 3 big challenges in entrepreneurship that you see and 3 big learnings that you see in entrepreneurship?
So I'll come to the learnings. I think learning is great. You know, I think you tend to discover a lot about your personality. जो भी आपका ईगो होता है ना, वो प्राइवेट में औहदा होता है कि मैं तो वाइस प्रेसिडेंट हूँ, मैं ये हूँ, वो आपका कुछ नहीं होता. यहाँ पे आप कहाँ से पढ़े हो, आपका औहदा क्या है, दैट डजंट डिसाइड कस्टमर आपका प्रोडक्ट या सर्विस लेगा कि नहीं. तो आपको जमीन पे आना पड़ता है. सूनर और लेटर हु यू आर, यू हैव टू बिकम ग्राउंडेड. आई थिंक दैट्स अ ग्रेट अपॉर्चुनिटी टू रियली बी इन टच विथ रियलिटी. Second, I think you come, if you are in the journey long enough, you come across really capable, amazing people, and that in itself kind of helps you up your level of learning as an individual. Third, I think, you can mold your life the way you want. You can play to your strengths. Now, I don't know if it's a learning or not, but you kind of become more aware about what your strengths. Like I know I'm very good with people. I'm not very good with mathematics. मेरे को नहीं आता मैथ्स, तो मैं मेरे चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट को काम देता हूँ मैथ्स करने का, जितना भी करने का है. मैं अगर जॉब में रहता तो शायद I would have to kind of still do a lot of stuff which I am not really good at. So I think entrepreneurship helps you, magnify your strengths and deepen your learning in that area. If you are doing it in an environment which helps you do that. Sometimes you can get stuck with wrong kind of partners, wrong kind of investors, then things can become toxic. But if you're doing it with the right environment, I think it helps you discover a lot of strengths for yourself. 3 challenges, and I think these are all positive challenges. As I said, entrepreneurship कोई मजबूरी में नहीं करता है, तो चॉइस होती है. चैलेंज है पैसे कमाने का, मतलब कुछ वायबल बनाने का. चैलेंज ये है कि कस्टमर को आप कुछ ऐसा दो जिसके लिए वो उतना पैसा दे जितना आप मांग रहे हो. वो वैल्यू क्रिएट करने का चैलेंज है सबसे बड़ा, और ऑन गोइंग चैलेंज है. दैट्स चैलेंज नंबर 2. एक चैलेंज है कि पहले आपका प्रोडक्ट और सर्विस बिके. सेकेंड है कि वो बिकता ही रहे. तो अपसेल, रियल वैल्यू, कंटिन्यूड वैल्यू, न्यू कस्टमर्स, it's another thing. But if you ask me, the biggest challenge of building a sizable business, which a lot of entrepreneurs don't do, is learning how to manage people.
Right.
There's a lot of focus on मेरा customer कौन है, मेरा product क्या है, मेरा service क्या है. All of that is very important, right, for sure. लेकिन from a very early stage of business, if you are not thinking consciously about what is going to be the culture of my company, why would people work for me, why would people continue to work for this company beyond what you're paying them? Okay, how would you provide them progression? All these questions need to be very high on a founder's agenda, and should not be the 25th or the 30th line item when you're doing your reviews. आज की डेट में entrepreneurship काफी glamorized है, thanks to Shark Tank and LinkedIn, funding, VC, this, that. और जितने भी posts हम LinkedIn पे देखते हैं, people aspect पे कुछ नहीं लिखा होता. ये लिखा होता कि हमने इतने मिलियन की फंडिंग करी है. How capable is the founder or the founders to nurture talent? इस पे founders का ही focus नहीं रहता है जब तक things don't go wrong. So I think that's and it's very difficult. I'll tell you, it's the most difficult thing, but at the same time there is not enough conscious effort.
Yeah.
तो वो सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी है, क्योंकि लोगों के साथ काम करना सबसे ज्यादा मुश्किल है. सबसे आसान काम है लैपटॉप के सामने बैठ के अकेले अकेले सब कुछ कर लो. So these are the three major challenges, I would say, of business on entrepreneurship.
All right. Thank you so much.
Great.
Nice.
So I think we are done with episode 1 of Duo Dynamics, Navigating Life in Business.
Yeah.
Hope you liked what you saw, and hopefully we'll be back soon with another episode.
Yeah.
Thank you so much and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.